Hi guys, welcome to Repeat Content, the channel where you can watch me die. Alright, today I want to talk about why you should be playing Shaman if you want to go full in on shapeshifting, alright? Let's get into it. So when we look at the shapeshifting, there are these ultimate skills of these shapes. For the wolf, we have the Lunar Blessing, which gives tons of extra cold damage and attack speed, but needs you to spend rage. Why that's important, I will tell in a moment. Let's look at the other skills. We got the Walking Calamity of the Bear, where you need to be on full rage and generate more rage in order to build this glory. When you have 20 glory, then you can push this button and become the Bear Cop, Bear Apocalypse. And the same goes for the Wirren. The Wirren has the Flame Breath, which extends its duration as more rage is in your rage bar when you click it. So every build who wants to utilize the full power of the shapeshifts needs to solve rage. And how do you solve rage? You solve rage with the Shaman, guys. This is the go-to class for everyone who wants to go full in on the shapeshifting. And here's why. Because you have endless rage. Furious Wellspring allows you to generate endless amount of rage just by investing in mana regeneration. You also get like 7 maximum rage, which is awesome. So you end up with 37 more damage already, and you get also for free the rage is applied also to spell damage at the half of the cost, so your spells also going to be benefiting from this. So it's a very useful thing. Any other class who wants to utilize the shapeshifts needs to somehow solve rage, and for Shaman you get it for free, so it's basically careless. You don't need any gear, you just need to click your second ascendancy and you can play around with all the shapeshift forms for free, man. This is the way to go in the league start. All right, so we got our rage solved, we got our first 2 ascendancies into the Shaman. What's next, you might ask yourself? So from there on we have actually 2 options. First, we could go more defensively. There's this reactive growth, which has this adaptation mechanic. Every time you take elemental damage, you gain 1 adaptation, and every adaptation allows you to take 4% less elemental damage. So now we don't know what's the maximum adaptation numbers are going to be, but regarding this is an ascendancy, which you usually get like 20% till 30% damage reduction. I'm assuming it's somewhere between 4 and 6 adaptations at max. We're not going to get 10, it's going to be 40% less elemental damage. So, I mean, it would be still possible. It's somewhere around the Mercenaries bubble. So on top of that, you get the Avatar of Evolution, which now enables all sorts of physical damage to also trigger the adaptation, since it's going to be converted to cold damage, fire damage, or lightning damage, which then also gets reduced by your resistance. So all in all, this looks like quite a tanky setup for the Shaman, but still, there's of course the damage. We got the Apocalypse. You could also, instead of going like the defensive route, you can go this route. Like, we don't know yet what this node down there is going to be doing. I'm assuming it's some sort of increased damage multiplier depending on which element you want to go. Like, you could go fire, apparently. This looks like cold, and this like lightning, depending on which shapeshift you're going to specialize into. You can then do that here, and then go to the Apocalypse, which is doing amazing AoEs. Here is how they look like. Alright, so now we covered the Shaman. Let's have a look at other options to generate rage for other ascendancies. We got this uniques, for example, that are early leveling uniques, where you can slap on during the campaign and gain 1 rage on melee hit. We also have Death Articulated, which is quite close to the Shaman Ascendancy, with the downside of 5% maximum life lost per second. If you can out heal or out leech this, it's going to be quite valuable for your build. But again, it's going to be gear dependent, and you're going to need to invest a lot of passive points into this. We have a lot of sources of rage generation on the 3. Even if you take these 2 nodes, you end up with 5 rage on hit. You could squanch in every runes Javel socket you have. You can put one of these bad boys with like gain rage on hit, and you get the idea. You can generate a lot of rage with quite of an investment, and you don't want to do that on league start, especially when we're going to be testing around a lot of things. If you want to have just a careless play of, I click my ascendancy, I got rage solved, now I can shapeshift into anything and be the dragon, be the bear, be the wolf I always wanted to be, this is the way to go with the Shaman. Everybody else needs to figure out this calculation for themselves. I mean, it should be possible, but we have to take a look in-game. It's hard to tell for now. I just wanted to cover what options there are for other Ascendancies and how easy it is to do with the Shaman. So, that covered, let's have a look of a small build idea I had regarding the new unique and the Titan. So the Fury of the King looks so fucking cool. We got this Demon Bear, which gets the Molten Crash skill, which creates fissures, and when you then start running on them with the Bear Slams, it activates the fissures. This is already quite similar to what the Titan already has. We got kind of all these fissures, and we can activate them with Stampede. Like you can go Volcanic Fissure, which creates them. You have Leap Slam with Crater that creates fissures, and then you can place Shockwave Totems on top that activate these fissures, or as I said, you just Stampede on them. So the question is going to be, is it worth to go this kind of path for the Titan? You're gonna get a lot of more Aftershocks. We get the new Splitting the Mountain Ascendancy, where you get 3 Aftershocks every 3rd slams, which is a 33% buff. Yeah, it lost 25%, but we end up with a net buff of around 7% increased damage from what Titan did before, which was already one of the best classes for this. So I'm quite curious to experiment around and see if it's worth to build a bear into the already existing ways to activate these fissures as a Titan. So it's going to be to finding a balance on like how many times does it make sense to activate these fissures. Is it worth the opportunity cost, or is it just better to go Earth Shatter and slam everything away? So that being said, I'm quite curious what you guys think. Are you going to log into the Shaman, or what other ways you're planning to utilize the shapeshifting in your builds? Let me know in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. If you're interested in more endgame updates, I have a video about the endgame changes, and I'm also putting a video about how crafting is still alive in 0.4, just a bit more RNG. If you like the content, consider subscribing, and see you on Twitch.